Assalamu alaikum dear students, welcome to my channel, and today I will discuss the paper 2 of O level computer science 2210 and 0478 IGCSE and O level. And you know that the syllabus this year we have a change syllabus, and there is the change in the order of the topics, and also new things are added. So I've decided to make a series of videos to cover some very important aspects of the paper 2. And in our today's video session, we'll be talking about the standard method of solution. This topic I've seen is very important and is covered in many past paper questions, and in this new syllabus they have consolidated this topic with some very important topics like linear search, bubble sort, totaling, counting, finding maximum, minimum, and average values. And there are 4-5 questions ranging 14 to 18 marks question comes on these related topics. So today we'll be talking about it. I've also compiled my topical resource on the same topic and standard method of solution, and I have selected the relevant questions from the past paper, and they're all related to these topics that we will discuss in our today's session: totaling, counting, finding maximum, minimum, and average, linear search, and bubble sort. So let's begin. So the standard method of solutions. I'll be writing these pseudocodes and I will explain it. So the standard method of solution that we have today, I'll follow the sequence: totaling, counting. So we have totaling. Number 2, we have counting. Number 3, maximum. Minimum and average. Number 4 is linear search. And number 5 is bubble sort. Okay. So these are the standard method of solution, and these are some important concepts that are used while writing the solution. Now coming to the first one, and that is the totaling. And what is the totaling? Totaling is, if I write the totaling in a very simplest way, that totaling is adding a number into an existing variable each time it is entered. So every time a number is entered, it will be added into the variable total. So let's see example. We can have the variable total, or we can have a variable sum for this purpose. So both can be used for totaling. So what I will do, I will declare total. So I will be using here as total. Okay, total as integer, and declare. Now we need a variable num as integer, so that we can ask the person to enter the variable. Now let's say we'll use a loop for, okay, the total must be initialized to 0. Total is 0, so that it must be emptied before we start asking the person to enter the number. So count, so we'll use I as 1 to, let's say, 10, and here we will ask the person to enter value and input num, and then total is equal to total plus num. So now this number is going to be added into the total, and then next I. In pseudocode we write I after the next as well. Now in the last we will output total, so the value will be output. Now this is an example of the totaling, the pseudocode for totaling. Now for example, let's see what happens in it. Now if a person enters a number, for example he enters 4, what will happen here? And he will enter 4, so the number will become 0 is equal to 0 plus 4. So that becomes, this will gives us the result of this gives us the total become 4. Now the total is 4. Now after this, the next time the user enter another number, because the loop will iterate for 10 times. If a person enters 6, what will happen? The result will be like, the total will be like, in the last value in the total is 4. 4 is equal to 4 plus the new number is 6. So this gives us 10. Now the total become 10. So if the person now enters another number, let's say 3, so what will happen over here? Now the last value in it is 10 is equal to 10 plus the new number is 3. So that becomes 13. This is how the totaling will give us the result by adding the number every time a new number into the existing number. So adding a number into the existing variable, so every time it is entered gives us the total. The concept of the total can be used for adding a simple variable, or also to add uh, an array variable as well. So for example, the num is an array. If the num is the array, so we'll change it like this I. So now what we are doing, every time the value is entered in the array can be, the value of the array will be added into the total. So this can also be happen. This is the further concept of totaling. And if you want to total two arrays and the location of the array, and you want to place it, then but whenever you want to add, this is the vertical addition of the totaling concept is used to add the vertically the values of the array into the total. Okay, so this is how we will use total. Now moving toward the next one, and that is counting. What is counting? Counting is adding a constant like 1 or 2 into the existing variable. It can be count. So now in the total we were adding, every time we were adding a number into a new number into the existing variable. So we were adding actually a variable into the existing variable. Variable has the tendency to get every time to get a new number into it. So it means the value inside the variable is constantly changing. But in counting, we are not adding variable into the existing variable, but we are adding a constant into it. And this can be, normally it is 1, But if we want to change the time it is adding, so we can change it to 2, or we can change it to 5, 10, depends on the situation. So let's see how. Now if we take let's say count is equal to 0. Now while count is less than 10, we are doing output count, and then count is equal to count plus 1. Now in this program you can see what the count is doing. Count is initialized as 0, so we give an initial value to count. Okay, now count is tested. Is the value of the count is less than 10? Yes, it is less than 10. Initially we say the count is 1. 1 is less than 10. True, it is less than 10. When it is less than 10, it will go inside. So when it will output, what it will output? It will output 1. And the next time when it reaches here, you can see the count is a constant 1 is added into it. So 1 is equal to 1 plus 1. So this becomes 2. Okay. Now the end while take back the program over here. So it comes here. Now 2 is checked. 2 is less than 10. Yes, it is true. So when it is less than 10, output, what will come? 2 will come. And what happens here? 2 is equal to 2 plus 1, and that gives 3. So this is the concept of counting. So you see every time we are adding the same value, same constant or a number into it. Now when we are going to change it, okay, the default concept of the counting is that we are always adding 1, for like in the for as well. The next I is changing I from 1 to 2 to 3. So every time for is also pushing I to move one time forward, one number forward. So in for, this counting is not visible, although this is done with the help of next I. But when we are doing this kind of writing this kind of pseudocode, here this iteration is visible, and here we have to do this manually, and we added 1 into it. Okay, now when we will change it, what is the situation in which we can change this 1? Like if we are asked to print the even numbers, for example, so the only thing that will change is that this one now it becomes 2. Now the counting will be done by jumping 2 digits forward. So from the 0 we move to 2. So what will happen? It will give us 2. First it will give us 0, then it will give us 2, then 4, then 6, then 8, then 10. Now you can see the counting is done, but the jump is of 2. I told you that the default iteration, the default counting is done at 1, at the jump of 1. But if we change this constant to 2, the jump will be of 2 numbers. And so you get 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And in order to, now this is your task, that you change this coding and you output the even numbers, the odd numbers, with the help of the same code. So what which change we will bring into this coding. Okay, this I'll leave to you. You can write in the description as well. Okay, now moving to the third one, and that is the maximum and minimum and average. Maximum, minimum, average is first we'll do the maximum. What is maximum? The rule for the maximum is that we are going to find out, this can also be called as, maximum can also be called as largest. Okay? And we tend to find out the maximum or largest value from the given numbers or input by the user. So we are going to find out the maximum number or the largest number from the given list. So what is the first thing that we will do? This is the rule that maximum must be declared with a smaller digit, okay, or the largest is declared not declared, it is initialized with the smallest number, and the smallest most is the 0. We cannot go to the negative number. Okay, now for example what we will do, we have let's say we are asking the person, okay, we need a loop so that we can have various number for I is equal to 1 to 10. So it will let the person to enter different numbers. For example, input n, here we take n, and if n is greater than maximum, then what will happen? Maximum is equal to n. So we are going to change the maximum. The number maximum will become, n will become the maximum. So the new value will replace it. Okay. And if next I, and we can output maximum. Now what is happening here? Let's say the person is entering a number 6. Now here 6 will be compared with 0. So this is true. So resultantly what will happen? Now maximum is, so the 0 will be replaced with 6. Now the maximum is 6. Because originally the maximum was 0. Now when a new number came, so it will be replaced with 6. Okay. Now next time the person entered what? Let's say 4. And when the user entered 4, 4 will be n. Now is 4 is greater than 6? So it is false. So when it is false, the value will not change. The maximum remains 6. The next time the user entered 10. And now this time 10 is compared with 6. So this is true. When it is true, it will replace. So now 6 will be replaced by 10. So the new number is now 10. Maximum is 10. So in this way, the values will be tested. The values will be, every time the new number is entered, it will be checked with the maximum, that is the new number is greater than this number, and if it is greater, then the new number will replace the last number. So by the end of this loop, from the 10 entered numbers, the largest or the maximum number will be output. So this is the concept of maximum. Now coming to the minimum or smallest. Minimum or smallest is we find out the smallest number from given numbers. We find out the smallest number. And what is the method? What is the technique? The technique, again, here we will have the minimum is equal to 0, or the the smallest is equal to 0. Why I am writing smallest? So that you will have a better understanding, you will remember it. Okay, now again for I is equal to, so we'll have the same program. I'll just copy paste here to reduce the time. We have the same program, we input a number, but we are going to change this condition over here. If n is less than minimum, if n is less than minimum, okay, then minimum is equal to n. Minimum is equal to the n. And in the end, we are going to. So what will happen over here? Now let's say, again, see the scenario. The number given is, for example, okay, now, yes, one point I think I have written wrong. The minimum must be initialized with a largest number. This is the rule. In the maximum, we initialize it with the opposite number. Let's say maximum is to find out the largest, so we initialize it with the smallest. And the minimum is used to find out the smallest, and we initialize it with the largest number. Okay. Now a person enters a number. Now you will see the effect of it. What is the benefit of doing like this? The person enters, for example, 10 over here. And 10 is less than 100. Yes, true. So what will happen? Now 100 will be replaced by 10. Okay, got it? So the next time the person enters, for example, 4. When he enters 4, again, is 4 is less than, the last value was 10. True. So when it is true, 10 will be replaced by 4. So I hope you getting it. So this is how. So by the end of the loop, we will reach to the smallest number among the 10 numbers entered, and in the end we will output it. So this is how the minimum works. Okay. Then comes the average. Average is very simple. Third one is the average is to find out the average from the entered numbers. So in order to find out the average, it's very easy. What we will do, I'll just add it here in the totaling. I will just amend the totaling so that we can get the average. So you remember the totaling. So here we get the total. After getting the total, the only thing we can do is we'll add one more step into it, and that is average. Average is equal to total divided by 10. So the number of time the numbers 10 values were entered. So we divide, it is just a mathematical rule that we divide the total with the number of time the numbers they were entered. So we entered 10 numbers, 10 different numbers. So this is how the, so average, total and average. Average will be produced like this. Okay. So now moving next, and that is the linear search. Linear search is finding out a number from, it can be a number, it can be a name, from a given list. Okay. So how will we do that? We use variables like declare list array, and it is of type 1 to 10 as number. Declare it. Okay. What I will do, I will not mention this and I will add the values here. I've done this thing various time and I hope my students they know it. We can initialize the values here. Let's say we enter 3, 6, 10, 4, 7, 5. So you remember, you should know that the when we are searching a list, it is not an ordered list. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. So I'm just making it 5. So make a small array. So the list contains 5 elements, 5 different numbers. Okay, declare found as, we write as or we write full colon both, as boolean, and we initialize at false. Okay, and then we ask the declare num as integer. This is the number that we will search. Okay, now let's begin how we search a number. We write for example, we ask output enter a number to search from the list. We can also provide the list over here, but make it short. Input, and we take it into num. Now we'll use a loop for index is equal to 1 to 5. So we have 5 values in it. So what we will do, we are going to compare if num is equal to list index. If it is equal to the element at the index 1, then what will happen? It will output, the first thing it will output the value found, the value is found at location. So you can also give the location. Okay, this I've just added a thing so that it tells us that at which element the value exists. Then yes, we will also turn the found as true. And one more thing in the loop, we need to exit the for so that more searching is not done. And if and next index. Okay, so this is how what we are doing. It is going to every element. So list element, it will first tally it with 3. Then if the number, let's say the user entered number is for example 11, 3 is equal to 11, no. So if it is no, it will move next. Then it will go at 6. If it is equal to 6, no. So it will keep doing it till the end. Okay, now there is a condition that the search is done till the end of the list and the number is not found. So we'll handle that with another condition. If found is equal to false, so means there is no single number equal to the number we are searching. So what we'll write, the value is not found in the list. Okay, and if. So this is how the searching is done. I can explain it a little forward so that you can visualize that what is happening in the linear search. In the linear search, we have created a list. We have, for example, the list is like this. And it has 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. And the values are 3, 6, 10, 4, 7. And the user, for example, entered 5. So what will happen? This num will be tallied with first the index is 1. So 3 is not, so it will not found at first location, then it will go to 2, not here, then it will go at 3, not here, so when it go to 4, not here, then it go to 5, not here. So it means it will not go inside the if even for a single time, so the value of the uh, found will remain false, because it will become true only when this condition will become true. So when the value, when it is tallied with the content of every element, the number was not equalate, so it will not go inside it, so it will remain false. When it will remain false, this result, this message will be output. Now another condition is that the number entered is, for example, 4. Okay, now let's assume if it is 4, what will happen? Now at the first it will tally, no, 4 is not this, then it will go to 2, no, it's not there, then go to 3, no, it's not there, then is go to fourth location, yes, it is there. When it is true, then returns true, this message will be output. The value is found at location 4, and the found will be set to true. The status of found from the false will be changed to true. And then there is no need to search more. So we will exit for, and then end if, and then the next will be stopped. So there is no need to execute these lines because the found is true. So this condition will also not be used. Okay. So this is how we are done with the linear search. Okay, and in order to understand the bubble sort, I will refer you to my video in which I have explained the bubble sort in detail. Although this topic is common between the A and O level, so in place of repeating the same content over here, I will recommend my viewer to see my another video, already made video on the bubble sort. And this is all for our today's session. Thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.